Today we share our top 5 tips for extreme organization and efficiency on today's episode.
You are listening to the Champion Hustle podcast. Play to succeed in business and in life. Featuring Levi Hunsaker and Ryan Black.
Welcome to the Champion Hustle podcast. This is episode number 6. My name is Ryan Black.
And I'm Levi Hunsaker.
And welcome out. Today we are going to be going over our top 5 tips, our top 5 tips for...
Ryan's already thinking about going on vacation. He's going
Hey.
to take a nice, fun trip.
We're going next week, so we're stoked. But we've got 5 tips, top 5 tips, extreme organization, extreme efficiency in business. Levi, Guten Morgen, how are you doing today? Welcome.
Wow. Speaking all kinds of languages that I don't even know.
Oh, so glad to be here with you and looking forward to diving in. It's really interesting because, most folks, when they're working within kind of that employee paradigm, right? Because most people are employees, either for their own company or for another company. And there's definitely a paradigm shift when you go from being an employee to being a business owner. As an employee, our focus is more on, obviously there's responsibilities that we have to take care of, but whether in most situations, whether you're fast or slow, you're still paid because you're being paid for your time, right? There's a lot of flexibility there. But when it comes to being a business owner, you're paid for results, right? You're not paid for your time. You're paid for getting the result for your client, whoever that is. And so there's a bit of a paradigm shift there. And so that's why when we dive into the realm of business ownership, understanding organization, understanding efficiency is extremely important, because otherwise we really have to focus on maximizing our time. We need to work more quickly, more efficiently, because if we don't, we're not getting paid. And so a little bit of a paradigm shift. And that's one thing actually that a lot of people can struggle with when they make that kind of that leap from being an employee into being a business owner. It's hard for them to adjust to that because they're so used to a different system. So anyways.
Yeah. Maybe a lot of you have heard the phrase, as a business owner, you get to work any 18 hours of the day you would like. But that is not exactly where we want to see that go, because one of the reasons we're looking at business is so that we can take back control of our time. And that doesn't mean control of which time we spend, but how much of our time we get back. That's really what the whole goal of this is. When we're talking about organization and efficiency, is how do you get your time back so that you can produce the same results in less time?
Exactly. Yeah. And it is a shift. And for some people, it's really hard. It's really hard to make that change. Other people, they love it. It's super liberating. So it's just something we want to make sure that you're aware of, because we don't want it to catch you by surprise if you're going down that road. So, shall we dive in to our top 5 tips?
Let's jump right in. Tip number 1, Ryan.
All right, here we go. Clutter-free workspace. Now, this is something that I want to be transparent here. I have struggled with for many years. And, for many years, I've been in real estate investing is, currently what I do. But prior to that, I was in commercial filmmaking and ran a commercial production house for 11 years. Started it, grew it, ran it, and eventually sold it. But in doing that, being a creative, you really want to create your environment where your mind can flourish as you're working on different projects and editing and sound design and graphics and all that stuff. And so there were certain key things. Even the color, for those of you who are creatives, you'll appreciate this. Even the color of the wall behind your screen on your computer should be a specific color. Otherwise, it can actually tweak your eyes. And so the color representation that you're seeing on the screen will look different because of the color cast from the wall. So there's a lot of little details like that. But, that's... I'm not talking specifically about being creative here. Anybody, regardless of what type of business you're in, your workspace, your work area must be clutter-free. If you have a maximalist office, meaning you've just got stuff everywhere, even though you're focused, yeah, Levi, no, your
I'm
office
working
looks
on
great.
it.
Okay,
I'm working on it.
Okay,
It's
but
a work in progress.
if you have all these things, right, even though you're looking at your screen and you're focused on what you're looking at, your eyes are picking up everything else that's going on subconsciously, and it's analyzing and interpreting all of these things around you. And so your brain is working. It's distracting. It's getting tired. If you don't believe me, just try it at your house. Take one room and just try to get it as empty as possible, right? You could just one area. And us actually in our entire house, we have a minimalist interior design motif. It's a minimalist contemporary interior design style in our entire house. And it is so liberating. It's so relaxing because the more stuff you have, it causes stress and duress, and your brain is constantly looking at all the stuff even though you don't want to. So this is a really long-winded answer for keep your office space clean, clear. I don't know if you can see, you can probably see back here on the camera, I've got a couch here. This is my home office where we do all of our my wife and I work from here every day. So we've got a TV on the wall behind me there, got a nice comfy leather couch, actually got a coffee table with you can see that little bonsai palm tree. Love that. We love nature. So we got a little bonsai real palm tree right there. And, some artwork on the wall, and that's about it. And then a couple of desks, which are clean and clear. And that is so crucial to maintaining just a peaceful area where your mind can focus. So if you have the habit of creating, making a desk that just is piled with papers and everything else, create a system. You'll notice right there, off to my side, there's a door. That's actually a closet. And so in that closet, I've got my filing cabinet. I've got my printer. I've got my office supplies. I've got the things that you would normally need in an office, but it doesn't need to be all out and around you because it's distracting. So if I get a closet, either a built-in one or, a piece of furniture or something that you can hide everything in to keep your office area. When you come into your office, you should be focused on the task at hand. So even if you have to take 5 minutes every morning before you sit down or in the evening whenever you're working and go through and say, okay, what do I need to clear out of the room so that I have a clean, decluttered, non-distracting work area, will make all the difference in your work area. And so if you haven't tried it, try it. I guarantee you will notice a difference in having a clutter-free workspace. But it's not just about having the clutter-free physical environment. There's also your virtual environment, right? You want to talk about that, Levi?
So that's where I was going to go in with this is we talked about decluttering and having a clutter-free workspace, physical environment. But now what do you do mentally? So what about being digitally clutter-free? Wow. Sometimes you don't even have to be able to talk cleanly to be able to do a podcast.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. So we'll see if I can spit this out here. But really, as you go and look at what are your distractions in your digital environment, right? You're on your computer, you're on your electronic devices, especially if you are running a business where you have a home office. You've got your iPads, your tablets, your cell phones, your computers, all of these devices, and you know what it's like. It rings or beeps or goes off, buzzes, whatever, and immediately, boom, there it is, right in your hand, right? But are all the notifications you're getting, are they useful? Are they enhancing your lifestyle or taking away from it? Imagine like all of the emails in your inbox. Every time you delete one, or maybe you don't even delete one and you've got 15,000 emails in your inbox, right? But that's something that you see each time you go in, and that's clutter because it's a distraction. It's something that's taking your focus away from the work that you're actually trying to accomplish. So I'm going to say get rid of notifications that aren't useful, that aren't enhancing and adding to your life or adding to your business. Because a lot of people think they're being more efficient by getting notifications. No, it's actually interrupting your time. And we're going to talk about that in one of our later ones, because you don't want interruptions or distractions while you're focused on a different task. And so unsubscribe to emails that you're not opening, right? There's tons of these subscribe campaigns that's going on, and Ryan's poking his dog through the glass in the background on video here, so he's distracting me. See how distracting that was, and it completely threw everything off. That's what happens in your business.
Yeah. Sorry, Levi. I didn't mean to mess you up there. You were on a roll. His head was right over my shoulder, so I was pointing him out for our YouTube and Facebook viewers.
Yeah, it's all good, but it was a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Because it was a distraction, and I totally lost my train of thought there. The same thing's going to happen with your digital environment. You will lose your train of thought, and you are losing time, which is what we're trying to get back here. We want to be efficient with our time. And so the third tip that I'm going to give you on decluttering your digital environment is consolidate where you go for information. You don't want to have to go to 15 different websites, multiple emails, all this kind of stuff. Even if you do have that, and that's the way that you need to manage your business, put everything in one document. I use Google Docs just because it's easy to use. I can take it wherever I go. It's on my phone. It's on all of my devices. But put it in a document and put hyperlinks to everything that you need to see. So you basically have a dashboard of all of your information that you can jump into, one click, and you're there where you need to be.
Yeah, it really is consolidating, because, new platforms keep popping up, right? New technologies, new things. And so every single time it gets to the point where it's actually a drain on you. It's like, oh, great. Now another platform, another this, another that. Technology is designed to help us, to make life easier, not to be a burden. And so, like me, for example, with my phone, I don't even, I never have, it's always on mute 100% of the time. I never have my phone, because I noticed when I first got a smartphone years ago that every time I would hear the ding, or it would ring or whatever, it would completely distract me, and it would take me out of whatever it was I was doing. And so, for many years, my phone is always on silent. I have my watch that I wear that will, once again, only forward specific notifications. So I only get notifications for phone calls and text messages. And I let people know, the people that I work with, vendors, employees, clients, all that stuff. I let them know, hey, the best way, the fastest way to get a hold of me is to send me a text. I will typically see that immediately. If it's a lower priority communication, then you can message me in another platform or send me an email or something, because I only check that periodically throughout the day. But otherwise, you're constantly getting hit. And studies have actually been done to where when you, and I wish I could remember the specifics. I remember reading them before. I apologize, I don't have those right now. But where if you're in the middle of doing something, and then every time that a notification comes in, it causes an interrupt in your brain, and it's a significant amount of time for you to be able to refocus and get back to the point, the momentum that you had prior to the interruption. And so, it is what it is, but it's important to, especially if you struggle with focus or have, ADD type tendencies or things like that, where it's really hard for you to refocus, it's a challenge. So
it definitely is. And you know what? That's a great point on that distraction and being able to actually get back to the point where your brain was focusing. And it's a really great way to take us into talking about time boxing and compartmentalization. So this is a great way of calendaring and really blocking out time where you're going to be able to focus on a specific activity. And the way that I like to think about this is, think about Henry Ford and his assembly line. If you were trying to build a car and you would go and build one car from start to finish, you could do that and you'd get it done. But really the assembly line concept has actually sped up the process, because one person is doing one job consistently and they get really good at it and they get quick. So I like to take this time boxing concept and think about, okay, what are my daily processes and activities? What needs to get done in a day? And block out and say, you know what? I may need to go and be working on building new funnels for getting customers into my business, or finding new properties that I'm going to go buy, or any of these types of things. So I'm going to say, you know what, for the next 30 minutes, this is the only thing that I'm going to do. Or the next 60 minutes, this is the only thing I'm going to do. And at first I'm going to be slower, but by the end of the 30 or 60 minutes, I get to a point where I can analyze a real estate deal in about 5 minutes and decide whether it's something I want to submit an offer on. Whereas, at the beginning, it might take 7 or 8, maybe 10. It depends whether I'm in the groove yet or not. But yeah, I can get it down to 5 minutes by consistently applying that repetition over and over again. So really, it allows you to get laser focused in your effort and do that one thing and do it really well. And then you move on to the next thing. Set a timer. Turn off your phones, turn off your distractions, no notifications. Maybe your spouse or significant other, your family has a specific way to contact you in emergencies, but that is the one thing that is allowed to distract you during those times.
Well, and the other thing is when you give yourself a time limit on something, right, you will be able to get it done quicker. Like if you said, oh, okay, well, I've got 30 minutes to analyze this property, you probably would take it, do this and that. Like you'll stretch it out to 30 minutes. But if you're like, you know what, I got 5 minutes to do this, and you give yourself that artificial limit, you'll work faster, work more efficiently, cut out all the extra stuff that you don't need, get down to the core numbers and say, am I interested in this? Yes or no, moving on. So giving yourself those limits can definitely increase your efficiency in the tasks that you're taking on. So love it. I want to talk about tiers. This is one that I've been using for a long time, and I mean, it's still far from perfect on it, but I try to focus on this because it helps me as I look at the different responsibilities and the tasks I have during the day in running our businesses. And that is, I mean, I guess you could call it prioritization, task prioritization. For those of you who are familiar with Stephen R. Covey, we have the quadrants with the urgency, urgent, not urgent, important, not important. And I'm trying to remember, I think that's in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I think is when he taught that principle. I can't remember. I've read quite a few of his things, but that concept, right, of prioritizing urgency and importance and determining which activities you should do when during the day. I like to do it as tiered. I say tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, because a lot of times those items that are the funnest items are tier 3 items, because those are the things that we are passionate about doing. We like doing, but not necessarily the most urgent thing and I know we've talked about this on past episodes, or you talked about it, Levi, doing the hard things first. And a lot of times those tier 1 activities are the things that are going to be the core, the center of sustainability in your business. And they're not necessarily the things you really maybe want to do, but they're the things you must do. And so when with me, it's simple. I just kind of get a piece of scratch paper and separate it out into tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And I know that I have those tier 1 tasks are the things that absolutely must be done first. And so I'll have multiple things that are tier 1 tasks, and I'll go and get them done, and then I can go to tier 2 and then tier 3. But just prioritizing it that way helps me realize, okay, how urgent is this for me to do right now? Tier 1 tasks are typically those core activities, and everyone's business is going to be a little bit different. But to speak in generic terms, those activities that are current projects, maintaining current projects, current clients, current prospects, and nurturing them and supporting them in whatever it is that they're doing. And then tier 2 activities are more along the line of anything that is designed to keep those pipelines full, right? So it doesn't matter what business you're in, you've got to continue to be adding new relationships into that pipeline, be it through new prospects, new strategic partnerships with other companies, other vendors. And so keeping that pipeline full so that you don't turn into just a mom and pop type of an outfit where you're constantly struggling for new clients. And then those tier 3 activities are those that are focused on kind of your long-term vision, creating those tools, resources, systems that are necessary for long-term scalability of your business, as well as just kind of that long-term planning, maybe certain development of maybe different types of strategic planning or creative planning, different activities that long-term are important to direct the vision of where you're going, but that if you're looking at, okay, I've got a client who's sitting here, who's ready to buy, and I'm going to push them to the back burner so that I can focus on doing something that I enjoy doing, that's, research or design or something else, you're working backwards. So by distilling it out into those 3 separate tiers, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and understanding the purpose behind each one makes it pretty easy to ensure that even if your day is limited, something pops up, you're unable to work the hours that you thought you were going to, you're consistently on a daily basis ensuring that those activities that are most urgent and most important for the immediate health of your business are continually being done on a daily basis.
Yeah, definitely. And even within those 3 tiers, let's take, for example, tier 1. That's kind of going to be where you have your most urgent and most important tasks, where there's both urgency and importance that needs to be done, right? And a lot of that is where you're going to talk about, as a business owner, that's your money-making activities. But Ryan kind of mentioned this. We mentioned this back in our mindset episodes. But really, start with the things that are hard first. Even within those tiers, you can organize those. After you've ranked them in the tiers, you can organize them in a way that allows you to push through when you have the most energy, do the things that you like doing the very least, and really finishing strong on the things that you have a real passionate about.
Amen.
Okay, awesome. Next one that we're going to talk about is focusing on your strengths. Now, a lot of people will say that if you have a weakness, that you should just go improve on that weakness. And in business, is that really the most efficient thing for your time or for your money? Maybe, maybe not. It depends. If you have a passion for it, that's one thing, because you're investing in yourself and you're learning. But if you just look at it and you say, man, I really don't like doing this, but it's one of those urgent and important things that needs to get done, well, now it's time to bring in leverage. You know what? Start hiring out your weaknesses. That can be done through digital hiring, through automation, right? Because you can put automation processes into your business that allows technology to work in your favor and do the things that you don't like to do as much. Or another great one, and we're going to actually have an episode coming up about this here in a few weeks, is virtual assistants. You can actually hire for fairly cheap, inexpensive is probably the right word to say there, a virtual assistant and maybe multiple virtual assistants so that you can focus on the things that you do best and really increase the growth in your business.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. Thanks, Levi. Focus on your strengths. And kind of going along with that is, when you sometimes as business owners, right, entrepreneurs, we want to or have a tendency to feel like we have to wear all the hats. So you're saying don't wear all the hats. And sometimes when you want to wear the hats, it's hard to say no at putting on all those hats. And that's the fifth tip that we have to share with you today is get good at saying no, because it's really hard to say no. When you have an opportunity come along that, for us, for you and I, it would most likely be, a killer opportunity on a real estate deal. We're looking at, man, the numbers work out great, killer cash flow, great upside, everything working out. We create a win-win situation for the seller, help them out. But there are certain situations, and I know we've both been in this before, where we had to say no. We didn't really want to say no, but we have to learn. You have to set your parameters of this is the area that you're going to be working in. This is where your focus is going to be. And then you have to be able to say no, because if you get too far and wide with your focus, you're not going to go anywhere, right? Shiny object syndrome is real. You can't just be, going here and there and there and there and there and there. And pretty soon you're just spinning around in circles. You're getting dizzy and you fall flat on your face. So getting good at saying no with gratitude, right? You know what? Appreciate it, but I'm going to pass on this opportunity is important. And it's also important because you need to put a high value on your time, right? In your business, there are a million different things that you could be doing. You need to focus on, where is my time most best spent? Is it spent in the best way? Because there are different things you can be doing. Does it behoove you to learn, like you said, a new skill or an ability to be able to take care of a certain tier 1 activity, or should you hire that out? So put a high value on your time. What is going to save you the most money? You dedicating your time, which is your most valuable resource, your most limited resource, to learning that ability, or are you going to subcontract that out to somebody else? So, and that's the one thing, a big thing that I see with entrepreneurs and business owners is a lot of time they put next to no value on their time. They're so concerned about protecting the almighty dollar. And they're trying to, run lean and mean as they're getting things up and going. And they are just, once you do the math, they're making like 50 cents an hour in their business, right? Or less.
It reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite. That's like $1 an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I don't know, just keep that in mind. Get good at saying no and really realize, okay, are you going to have to scrimp? Are you going to have to sacrifice? Absolutely, as you're getting started. There's no other way. You're creating something new. That's why, it's part of your champion hustle. You're willing to do it when nobody else is. But long term, and as you're going through that, still keep in your mind, okay, your time has value, and just be intelligent and be smart about how you make those decisions.
Yeah, the way that I like to think about this is you really have 5 currencies in your business. You have, and I'm going to put these in order of what we talk a lot about, of order of importance in these currencies. The first one is time. This one right here, this time, is the only non-renewable resource. You get 24 hours a day, you don't get any of it back, and that's it. We all have the same 24 hours. Really, we just choose how we get to spend it. So time is number 1. Second is knowledge. So are you increasing in your knowledge? Are you increasing in your relationships? That's the number 3. 4 is your credit. And the very last one is money. So really, as you're looking at that, really take that into heart of these 5 currencies, and time being the most precious of those currencies. Put a high value on that and really make sure that you're focused in your business and in those activities, so that you can really take some of that back. Yeah, you got to hustle, you got to invest, you got to do some sacrifice as you're going through this. But really the ultimate goal is that you can actually step back from the activities, because if you don't want to spend time in your business, you got to make sure that someone or something is there to do it for you. And really that's the goal, is to get into that business ownership quadrant, where you have the ability to do what you want to do, but still make money in your business.
Exactly. I love it. And I really hope that for you guys, that what we're sharing on these episodes, I know that we are, we brainstorm and we prepare the content for these episodes. Really hope that you're finding that this is beneficial for you in your business, in your life. We have a lot of different experience in different things that we've done over the years, and we're hoping that by sharing this knowledge with you, that you're able to take it, to implement it, and to be able to benefit from it in your business moving forward. All
right. So we said we'd have 5 tips. We've done 5 tips, but guess what? We've got a bonus tip for you. And this one's a simple one, and it seems so simple, but it's sometimes one of the hardest things to do. The bonus tip is write it down. When you get that going, you'll have things in your business where you will forget. If you don't write it down, you won't be able to remember, you need to put it in a place that you're consistently looking at so you don't forget. One of the biggest ways to lose money in business is to not follow up with a customer or a client. So write it down, make it somewhere that you're going to be looking at it all the time. I like to keep all my notes digitally on my phone because I'm never without my phone, usually wherever I'm going. But if you write it down on a piece of paper in your office, you got to wait till you get back to your office. So write it down. Bonus tip.
Love it. Thank you, Levi. Now, I want to check in with you because, last week we talked about doing the 30-day challenge, right, with the affirmations. Yes. So I know so I want to find out kind of how it's going for you. I know for me, I actually wrote down and I broke my affirmations out into the 5 Fs. So I've got, faith, family, fitness, finances, and fun. And so I broke them out by that and printed them out. And mine are about a page and a half long. I have a lot of affirmations. And so, but it's been good. It's hard to remember them all, right? During the day, but definitely going through them in the morning has been beneficial. And I took quite a bit of time and was considerate in writing them down and thinking what things I wanted to do. And I told my wife that I was, going to do a 30-day affirmation challenge. So there's a little bit of accountability there as well. So for me, it's going well so far. Still got a long ways to go, but I'm definitely enjoying it. How's it been for you?
So Ryan is a little more in depth into this, and perhaps I can take some lessons from Ryan. It's a good thing we're friends. But I have about 5 affirmations, and you know what? Really getting in and saying that I am, and really repeating that multiple times a day, reading it out loud, the things that I want to be the very most. I am those things now. I'm going to be, if I want to be those in the future, I have to be those now. A lot of people say, look at it and say, if you want to be a millionaire, you've actually got to be a millionaire about 12 plus months before it actually happens. You have to be in that mindset. And so I am, those 2 very powerful, very small words in the English language, they can be positive or they can be negative. What we want to have is positive affirmations. So we'd love to hear how you guys are doing on your 30-day challenge. It's very impactful for both of us, and we'd love to hear how you're doing.
Yeah, so share share in our Facebook group. So if you're not in the Facebook group already, join the Facebook group. All the links are on our website at championhustle.com. Join the Facebook group and let us know in the comments how things are going, and so we can support each other and provide some accountability because it works. And Levi, you said you've only got about 5 affirmations. I think that's because you're less of a hot mess than I am. I just have more things that once I start writing them down, I'm like, oh man, we got a lot of things to work on here. So I think maybe you're just further along.
Everyone's a hot mess. Just own it.
So awesome. Well, this has been fun. This has been a good discussion. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for joining with us today on this week's episode of the Champion Hustle podcast. Next week, we are going to be covering something that we're both really passionate about, right? One of our core businesses that we're running, and that is rental real estate. We're going to be talking about the 4 killer benefits of rental properties. And these are benefits that are especially valuable right now in our current economical climate. We want to make sure that you're there. Don't miss it because it is going to be a great one. And we will see you then. So once again, plug in with us online. And thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Champion Hustle podcast. For more great content and to join our online community, visit us at championhustle.com.